Hey everyone. So this week, our theory that we're addressing is feminist theory. Feminist theory was kind of interesting to go through and just see some of the things about it that maybe were skewed in my mind or I didn't necessarily know about, including some of the underlying assumptions. There were several underlying assumptions that the author went through, but there was one that I kind of gravitated towards and found interesting. And that was that the person is political. Here, political does not mean that a woman has to be a part of a government. They don't have to be an elected official or any of that. Here, political is being used to describe the difference in power between women and men, or even between a majority and a minority, based on the roles that society has placed upon that minority. In this situation, the person is political is stating that there are no personal problems. Women do not have personal problems. The problems that women face are imposed by society and the structure and expectations that society has placed on them, as well as the certain stereotypes that have been placed on them. For instance, we've only had male presidents. So the feminist theory and the person is political would say that men have dominated in the political and government arena, and that that's become the social norm, and that women are not seen in that leadership role, that they have been oppressed by men. They have not been able to fit that role because they have been seen as lesser or have a lesser ability to lead. And so that whole societal issue is placed upon women. And I found that really interesting. It also takes into effect that females are highly stereotyped, and that is one of the things that is suppressing them from being able to grasp a hold of any personal power they do have and rise to prominence. So, in summary, the person is political is stating that a woman or women are viewed in context as a group, and that they all struggle with how they basically and them and their views and beliefs are seen as minorities in context to society as a whole, and that it's very difficult for them to grasp power in a world that is limiting their power. Their power is much weaker than men or other groups that have taken charge. So reflecting on that idea, I actually do kind of see some merit to that. As a male, this is one of those situations where I have to step back and I have to look at my own gender and how my gender has fit into the world, and then how women have been in the world. And I do feel like there have been some unequal things that have happened. I'm a Christian, for instance, and there's a lot of Christians that take out of context what it means to be submissive. And Christianity was really strong in our nation when it began. And I feel like a lot of times, even if you're not a Christian, you could be from any religion, or even no religion at all. There's a lot of people that feel like women are supposed to be submissive to men in a way that they're to bow down and they're supposed to listen to a man in any way. Um, Whereas this kind of overlaps with another one of the underlying assumptions that relationships are egalitarian. So what I see how the person is political really does play a role into counseling and feminist theory as well as the real world. Women tend to have less access to jobs. Women tend to have restricted access to health care. There's a lot of areas that women are restricted, such as pro decisions, pro life, pro choice, that kind of thing for women is really limited because of the limits that society places on women and the opinions that women have. Because for so long, women have been seen as the homemakers because society says you are to do this. This is your role. This is for you to stay home. So I feel like if someone was practicing feminist therapy, it's really important to take the person is political into context and how does this person view society? How does this person view the limits that are placed on them? And how can they overcome that into being successful? So that's kind of my short reflection on how the person or the personal is political, and how feminist therapists really do take into social context all the things that have happened and apply that to the personal life and how someone can gain control and gain power in their life and really make decisions regardless of their gender or minority to be able to be successful.